What it do? Chill Guy crew. Hey man, listen, today we are back with another banger video today. And as you can see, I'm riding solo today. Don't have either of my co-hosts with me, unfortunately. I fired both of them. So from now on, it's just going to be me running the show. And I'm actually bringing back the guy that was in the first two videos back to do all the creative and executive decisions for the channel and all our social medias. So look forward to that from the future. And yeah, let's get into it. So today we are going to be going over the top 15 funniest fights in the UFC. I don't know, man. The bills are high. I got to think of something, so we're going to do that today. I hope you all enjoy. Now, there's a stigma in the UFC that they have the best fighters in the entire world. And I'll give you a little background. I've been watching the sport for about 6 years now. And for most of the part, that's true. But today's list will show you that might not be the case sometimes, especially with some of the fights on this list. Oh boy. But anyways, yeah, let's just get right into it. So starting off, we have the number 15 spot, Islam Makhachev versus Alejandro Pantoja. Now, many of you don't know this, but Alejandro Pantoja started his career as a lightweight and then moved down to flyweight to become the flyweight champion. He started out fighting Islam Makhachev back in the day, which is a crazy stat to have on your resume. It really makes you consider him where he is on the GOAT list, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the fight, and oh boy, was a great knockout. The fact that it happened to Islam Makhachev, I think, is what makes it really funny, because he throws the most textbook overextended overhand you could imagine, and he immediately gets countered with a hook from Pantoja, and he instantly collapses to the ground. The way he falls is just so funny, and like I said, you know, Khabib never been dropped before, never gotten beat, well, except for Galatian T-Bow, but we're not talking about that. But the fact that Islam Makhachev has this on his record is just hilarious, because you can bring it up to the Daggy fans whenever they're trying to talk too much. And this is how I expect the Ilia Topuria fight to go. So yeah, number 15, we got Islam versus Pantoja. All right, moving on, we got Yuju Sang versus Daniel Santos. This was another great fight. Definitely a fan of Yuju Sang from this performance, even though he lost. He was just aura farming the whole time. I mean, bro was just in there doing his thing. You know, he was emoting constantly, making the crowd go wild. And, you know, it was really funny. And he was doing pretty good in the fight until he made the mistake of extending both of his arms out with his chin unguarded and getting caught with an overhand from Daniel Santos, collapsing to the ground. I mean, dude, what a way to go out. I mean, after all that, bro, we're putting him in the GOAT list for sure. They'll definitely be adjusted after this video. We got a big list coming out pretty soon, but yeah, man, Yuju Sang, man, what a legend of the sport. Moving on, we have Anshul Jabli versus Mike Breeden. Now, Captain India, man, where do we gotta start? This guy went from saying in a podcast that he would knock out Khabib in a fight, and ever since he said that, he's gotten absolutely obliterated within both fights. Yeah, Anshul Jabli was up 2 rounds, bro. 2 fucking rounds, and he gets knocked out by Mike Breeden, one of the worst fighters in the UFC, and he got cut immediately after the fight. That's how bad he is. They did not expect him to win this fight. They already ended his contract before they fucking cut him. Like, bro, what? Oh my, dude. Yeah, crazy fight. It sucks for Captain India. You know, he was representing the nation. He was doing pretty well up until this point, unfortunately. But we're hoping Anshul Jabli can come back his next fight. I do not remember who he's fighting, but he's fighting... Oh, he's fighting John Pork. That's right. Anshul Jabli is fighting John Pork. We're all rooting for Anshul Jabli in that fight. All right, moving on, we have Ateba Gutierrez versus Tristan Vines. Bro, this is one of the funniest knockouts ever. The way bro was in there, I mean, first of all, Tristan Vines was a sacrificial lamb in this matchup. Ateba Gutierrez had one mission, and that was to kill him. And Tristan Vines had one mission, that was to survive the fight for as long as possible. And to his credit, he tried. Bro tried everything he could. He was doing his, 100-yard dash around the octagon, trying his best to not get caught with anything, also not landing a single punch. But after a while, Ateba finally grabbed his hands on him, and he threw Bro against the cage, knocking him out. I've never seen a knockout like this before. I think this was the first fence knockout in the UFC. I mean, beautiful work from Ateba. Yeah, dangerous guy. I mean, if he's knocking you out with the fucking fence, what are you going to do against Bro? I mean, shit, I don't know. Moving on, we have Lando Venata versus Charles Jourdain. This is another classic Apex fight for a very notorious reason. Lando Venata gets his shorts taken off of him.
Pull your trousers up, you clown!
Walks up a guillotine. This is just a crazy moment that happened in the sport. I mean, dude, how do you let that happen to you, bro? I'm sorry. Like, that's got to be that's honestly worse than getting flatline KO'd, if you ask me. I mean, getting your shorts pulled off like that. But, Lando Venata is a beast and is a legend of the sport. But, it happens. I wouldn't say it happens to the best of us, but, I mean, shit, it happens. It happens. So, yeah, pretty funny moment right there. We have Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang now, guys. When this fight got announced, we all knew what was happening here. Zhang Mingyang was going to absolutely destroy Anthony Smith, and that's exactly what happened. We didn't picture it going any other way. This fight right here is one of the greatest fights in the UFC. And I'm not even joking to you, because this is the last time we got the classic vintage Anthony Smith performance of him doing what he calls the Smith guard, where he basically curls up into a ball on the ground and just gets the shit kicked out of him. It happens to him in every single fight he's ever been in, and it happened to him in that fucking raccoon. It happened to him in this fight as well. And yeah, Zhang Mingyang just went out there and just obliterated Anthony Smith for his final fight in the UFC, his retirement matchup. And then Anthony Smith goes crazy in the post-fight. We get the Jelly Roll video package, some great stuff there. This should be in the Hall of Fame. This is a Hall of Fame fight right here. I mean, dude, it's beautiful. You got to watch it. Everyone needs to go watch Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. It's pure cinema, if you ask me. Moving on to a fight that happened recently, we got Julian Erosa versus Larion Douglas. Man, this fight, let me tell you. Now, I don't know if Larion Douglas has the world's greatest jab or Julian Erosa has the worst chin of all time. It could be a mixture of both. But, yeah, it took Larion Douglas, halfway through the first round to figure out Julian Erosa, and that was just if you land a clean punch on his chin, he's going out, and he dropped Bro. Once he started landing that jab and figured him out, he dropped Bro about 3 or 4 times. It was hilarious. Sat him down each time with the jab. Yeah, great stuff here. Super funny matchup. Julian Erosa, man, he's always there for the fans to provide comedic relief. I love the guy. All right. Now, moving on to one of the greatest knockouts in the sport, Johnny Walker versus Jamal Hill. Man, I was there for this fight. I watched this back in my living room on the big TV. And when I saw Johnny Walker literally fall over like a cartoon character, I just burst out laughing. I mean, this was just fucking hilarious. One of the goofiest knockouts for sure in the sport. Jamal Hill just landed once on Johnny Walker, and it just like Julian Erosa, man. You land clean on Johnny Walker once, and Bro tumbles right over. You could put a lot of Johnny Walker's fights on there, but I think this one is obviously the most funny one. I mean, just the optics of it, man. It's a Johnny Walker. This is one of Johnny Walker's most infamous knockouts. I mean, what can you say? All right, now moving on to one of my personal favorites. We got DDP versus Derek Brunson. Now, this right here is a Street Beefs matchup in the UFC. I mean, dude, the first round, Derek Brunson takes DDP down and controls him for a good, I want to say 2 minutes maybe. And it was looking like, dude, this was vintage Derek Brunson. He beats guys by taking them down and holding them. But he wasn't able to keep DDP down for long. And unfortunately for Derek Brunson, when bro strikes, it's like he's striking underwater, walking forward into punches. And this was DDP before the nose surgery, so he was breathing out of his mouth, throwing caution to the wind. I mean, bro, DDP was just going for the kill, man, just swinging bombs on Derek Brunson, spinning back fists, everything, dude. It was just an incredible fight to watch. And then the ending of this fight, I think, is what gets me, because DDP gets Derek Brunson down and just starts wailing on him on the ground, and Derek Brunson is just laying there, just having his head bash against the octagon. And then they throw the towel in at the end of the round. Like, the horn literally goes off as his corner throws the towel in. Derek Brunson just said, fuck it, I'm done. He couldn't handle the DDP pressure, Derek Brunson's also one of the legends of the sport. We missed the blonde Brunson era. For those who know, you know. All right, moving on, we have Tai Tuivasa versus Talashin Teixeira. This is another legendary fight that we got to witness. Great stuff here. Tai Tuivasa went out there with the KFC Popeyes game plan. Unfortunately for him, it didn't work out for him. He ended up, both fighters gassed after the first minute of the fight, and it resulted in both of them laying down in the octagon at the end of the fight. Truly beautiful stuff here. I mean, this was just a great back and forth from two warriors in the sport. I mean, this is another Hall of Fame matchup fight you could honestly put in the UFC Hall of Fame. I mean, it's just incredible. I can't believe we've seen two athletes push to their limits in a fight like this. It's incredible. Moving on to this fight also needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Alan Bidet versus Josh Parisian. Man, this might be the prime Apex Blob heavyweight fight. I'm telling you, man. This fight right here. Oh boy, we had so many spinning back fists from these unathletic heavyweights. This was like poetry in human form. They were moving around the octagon, blobbing around all over the place. And then there was a moment where Josh Parisian, or Alan Bidet, I don't remember, if I'm being completely honest. I don't care. But there was one part where Josh Parisian has Alan Bidet. He's just beating him up against the cage, and he's looking at the ref. And these are the weakest punches known to man. And he's just staring at the ref to stop the fight because bro is so gassed. But he wasn't doing enough to finish the fight. So, I mean, bro, great stuff here. Hilarious fight. All right, moving on to another blob heavyweight fight. We got Chris Barnett versus Hamdi. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. I'm not even going to attempt to. I mean, dude, this is prime Chris Barnett here, bro. I mean, just go watch the fight if you haven't. It's hilarious. Chris Barnett, unfortunately, I think they both got cut for this performance. It was really bad, but it was just hilarious because it was just Hamdi beating up a fat dude. That's pretty much what the fight was. Here, hilarious fight. Like I said, go see it if you haven't. Moving on to the third fight, we have Stipe Miocic versus Alistair Overeem. Now, you may be asking, why is it so high up on this list? Well, for that being, it's a title fight, and just the optics of this fight. I'll go, because it's such a short fight, we're going to break it down here. So, the fight starts. Stipe Miocic and Alistair Overeem are feeling each other out. They're looking around the octagon. Stipe starts to throw some punches. Alistair Overeem starts to run away. Alistair starts to run away again, running around the octagon, circling Stipe out constantly, trying to run away. Stipe Miocic goes for a head kick, which Alistair Overeem avoids completely by running away, and then he drops bro with a right hand, snatches up a guillotine Dustin Poirier style, and tries to finish the guillotine. Unfortunately for him, Stipe scrambles out, and Alistair Overeem starts doing a 100-yard dash away from Stipe Miocic. Now, it seems like Alistair Overeem's game plan for this fight was to run. I don't know how much training he did for this fight other than running, but if you ask me, if you're in a UFC title fight, I would much rather be worried about the striking and grappling aspect rather than the running aspect. But, I mean, to each their own. Alistair Overeem tries to get something going to no avail. Stipe then starts to find Overeem. Overeem's just backing up against the cage, blocking every punch that Stipe's throwing. Keeps trying to throw. And then eventually, Stipe Miocic gets Alistair Overeem down. and just starts raining ground and pound on him, and Alistair Overeem just completely covers up, and then he just stops caring and just lets Stipe punch him over and over again, ending the fight. This is a legendary fight. This is a hilarious matchup. Obviously, it wasn't prime horse meat Overeem, but hey, Overeem showed up. He gave it his all. He went in there to run, but as we saw with the Gutierrez fight too, running doesn't necessarily get you anywhere in the sport. So for that, I gotta say, R.I.P. Alistair Overeem. This was 10 years ago, but rest in peace. Moving on to, this is the first ever women's MMA fight covered on the channel. Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes 2. Now, Juliana Pena is my favorite WMMA fighter, mostly because she's hot. I mean, her skills are all right too. But anyways, yeah, so the fight, I think in the second round or first round, Pena starts throwing her classic 1-2-1 where she rushes forward. We call this the Pena blitz. And Amanda Nunes, after reading the Pena blitz, Nunes catches her, I think, 3 or 2 times in the fight and just drops Pena. I mean, dude, this was Juliana Pena's best performance, only to her last. This is one of Juliana Pena's best performances, easily, without a doubt. I mean, I say we give her another title shot if she wins again. I think she's that good. So before we get to number 1, there were just a couple fights I wanted to bring up. Any Parker Porter fight, if you guys remember this guy was the prime heavyweight blob back in the day. Always brought it every single time. Parker Porter is one of the goats of the sport. John Jones ran away from the rematch, obviously. Then we got Sergey Pavlovich versus Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa came out wobbling on a bike already in this fight. I mean, when this fight got announced, I knew it was over for bro. I didn't expect any of this to go well for him. And yeah, it went about as good as you would think. Sergey Pavlovich just bulldozed Tuivasa, unfortunately. Poor guy. I mean, think of his family, dude. You got poor Tuivasa, man. He's got to come back. He's got to come back at least one more time. He's got to get one more win. Now, moving on to the number 1 funniest fight of all time, we have Shamil the Blob Gaziev versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Now, not only was this a hilarious fight in of itself, this is the fight that spawned the Shamil the Blob Gaziev memes. Everyone has referenced Shamil Gaziev forward from this day because of this fight. This fight is one of the most influential fights in the UFC. One of the most important matchups to ever be conceded on the television. And, I mean, dude, Shamil Gaziev went out there with everything. He had everything on the line here. You know, he had to prove that he was the up-and-coming prospect at heavyweight against a veteran like Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And he started to do pretty good in the first round. Unfortunately for Shamil Gaziev, he only has a round of cardio, and this is a 5-round fight. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik just does his thing, you know, landing calf kicks, his crafty jabs at Shamil Gaziev. And Shamil Gaziev wasn't doing much in the whole fight. And this resulted in the first ever TKO due to obesity. Shamil Gaziev's heart gave out in the 5th round, and he had to forfeit. Before the round even started, he went over to the doctors and told them, hey, listen, man, Popeyes closes in 5 minutes. I got to get out of here, man. I got to go. Yeah, just incredible work. I think some of the best work ever put into the octagon, and we all are excited for Shamil Gaziev's next fight. And we want to try to get an interview with him soon on the channel. We love Shamil Gaziev over here. He's one of the all-time greatest fighters of the sport. All right, that was today's video for the top 15 funniest fights in the UFC. Now, before I go, I just wanted to mention a few things. We got a banger video coming out Tuesday with the return of our co-hosts Cole and Alex. And then next Thursday, we have our 3rd interview with Ty's Fight Club. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be a banger. All right, boys, that's been it today. Peace out and chill out.